Today in history. It's July 22nd, and let's continue with our journey to the past.
We will. We have two events to share with our listeners today. We will get to those in just a moment. But first, here is a quiz question for you. The emperor penguin, the largest of its kind, is known to live in, number one, Antarctica, or number two, Australia. The question once again. The emperor penguin, the largest of its kind, is known to live in, number one, Antarctica, or number two, Australia. If you know the answer right now, you can put it on our Bundy board or text in on your cell phone for 51, pounder sharp 1045, and you could win an Usan. Very cool. All right, so let's see what's on the list for today. Today in history. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Conference created the International Monetary Fund, and in 2005, March of the Penguins debuted.
1944년 오늘은 브레턴 우주회의를 통해 IMF를 설립한 날이고요. 2005년도에는 다큐멘터리 영화 펭귄 위대한 모험이 개봉했습니다.
All right, so today we begin with a milestone event that led to the creation of one of the most important global organizations today, and that was the Bretton Woods Conference, which came to a close on this day in 1944.
The conference was held among 730 delegates from 44 countries, and its main goal was to regulate the international monetary and financial order after the end of World War II.
Thus, the conference was informally known as the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference, and among the agreements reached at the conference was establishing the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development and the International Monetary Fund, or IMF.
Now, the biggest legacy of the Bretton Woods Conference was undoubtedly the IMF, an international body that aimed at assisting in the reconstruction of the world, especially in the financial front.
Right, and the basic concept of the IMF was creating a fund pool with member countries through a quota system from which countries with payment imbalances temporarily could borrow money and other resources. And the first country to have borrowed from the IMF was France in 1947.
And as of 2010, the fund stood at about $755.7 billion US dollars, and it is a self-sustaining body with 188 member states.
Wow, that's a lot of money, huh? Yep. $755.7 billion US dollars. Wow. All right, let's move on now, and let's change topics from money to penguins and jump to the 21st century when one of the most acclaimed nature documentaries in history was released.
Yes, and that was March of the Penguins, which debuted today in 2005.
Before we talk about the documentary, do you enjoy watching things on TV, reality shows on animals, the Discovery Channel or National Geographic?
I find them amazing.
Oh, really?
I really enjoy watching them.
I enjoy them as long as there's no fighting.
I enjoy them as long as there's no killing or brutality. That's cruelty. That's true.
It's really strange. I don't know if it's my love for animals or what it is, but I cannot watch animals fight each other or try to hurt each other. It just breaks my heart.
Same here.
Yeah, so it's really difficult. I've never seen this documentary, March of the Penguins, because in my mind, I'm imagining, sharks or polar bears or something like that.
I understand what you're saying because, that's happened to me too. I want to watch this movie. There have been many films on animals, documentary type films, and I've wanted to watch them, but I was afraid to watch them.
Yeah, it's exactly the same for me. So I need someone to tell me, no, this one's okay.
It's okay to watch.
Before I watch it, right?
Yeah.
Well, this documentary centered on the life of the emperor penguin, the biggest penguin on Earth, and known to live in the most inhospitable place on the planet, Antarctica. The English version was dubbed by Morgan Freeman. Tough to find someone better than Morgan Freeman to do your dubbing, right? And here is a short clip from the trailer.
To find a mate. For 20 days and 20 nights, the emperor penguin will march to a place so extreme, it supports no other life.
Pretty interesting, right?
저는 잠시만 봐도 마음이 좀 짠하고 아팠어요.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. 동물 나오는 이런 다큐멘터리 같은 영화를 보면은 혹시라도 좀 다치지 않을까, 누구한테 공격을 좀 받지 않을까. 이런 거를 볼 때 좀 마음이 좀 아플 때가 있어요.
Did you see the in the video when it was snowing outside? They look so
Yeah,
cold.
they look so cold.
I want to give them a blanket. Do penguins need blankets? I don't even know.
They look like they needed blankets.
I know, right? They were huddling together.
Yeah.
So this first came out at Sundance, right?
Yes, that's right. Upon its first screening at the Sundance Film Festival, the documentary became an instant success.
Moreover, it became the second highest grossing documentary of all time, grossing more than $127 million worldwide.
Yeah.
Wow, pretty amazing.
Yeah, and the filming of the documentary was Luc Jacquet, and the shooting took place around the French scientific base of, I hope I get this right, Dumont-d'Urville in Adélaïde.
I see.
Yes. And according to the director, temperatures during filming would reach as far as minus 60 degrees Celsius. Minus 60, 영하 60도예요. And at dawn, the film crew would spend half an hour putting on 6 layers of clothes.
Right.
6겹. And on some days, they couldn't spend more than 3 hours outside.
Totally makes sense. Well, the documentary won several recognitions and accolades, including the Academy Award in 2005. I think it's probably definitely, worth seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's very educational and informative, but also it would tug on the heartstrings as well. There was another documentary that I watched called The Cove.
The Cove.
Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, The Cove was about...
It's about a town in Japan where it's about dolphins, basically.
Yes.
In Taiji. And my goodness, that is a tough documentary to watch.
I watched that.
I'm really glad I watched it, and I'm glad I know about it, but... Oh my goodness! It was hard to watch at the time. I actually interviewed the director of that documentary, Luis Arroyos, 2 weeks before he won the Oscar for it.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite an honor to speak with him. Very cool indeed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's worth checking out if you have the time.
Yes.
All right, that's going to do it for today in history. Before we wrap things up, how about the answer to the quiz question? The question was: the emperor penguin, the largest of its kind, is known to live in, and the answer, number 1, Antarctica. And that will be it for today in history. And when we come back from our next break, it's morning date time. And today, representatives from Logos Hope, an educational and nonprofit international vessel that aims at bringing hope and accessible education to all corners of the world. Sounds fantastic. Here is a song from the March of the Penguins OST. It's Emily Simon, All Is White.